invincible. Hello and welcome to the 14th round of the race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Pacific Series Tier 1 League here in Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. My name is Expert and I'll be your commentator for tonight's race. Tonight we are here at the Temple of Speed in Monza, arguably one of the most iconic F1 circuits that the Formula 1 travels to each year, whether it's the Tifosi or the cars going over 350 kilometers an hour down the main straight. It's without a doubt one of the best racetracks in the world. Now for a bit of track stats for you, the total circuit length of the Monza circuit is a little under 5.8 kilometers with a total of 11 corners with 4 to the left and 7 to the right, with 2 DRS zones with 1 on the main start finish straight and 1 heading on the exit of the second Lesmo and down to the Ascari chicane. We're going to have a look now at your driver standings. As you can see, Zach Crichton 77 points at the moment for the Mercedes driver. He's got a pretty handy lead at the moment between himself and Extra Evolution, that McLaren. Aaron in P3 for Red Bull ahead of Toddster 40, Spilly, Plevs, Crossy and Jay Schmidt round out your top 9 for Racing Point. Then it is the reserve driver of Swaggy, Romeo Alonso, VSO Roscoe, Curving Texas, Dr. Dre and Very Lazy Towel rounds out your top 15 for McLaren. Then it is the reserve driver I Contrast, Banana K Pie down in 17th, 18th is Pure Gold, P19 BKXI, and rounding out your top 20 is NBC Alcatraz with Toes Rudy Shumbo, Goes 01 GT, Gaming Burger, who is now an actual full-time driver now in the Williams team, is Gaming Burger, so congratulations to him on getting that drive, and Breno down in P25 for Haas. Let's have a quick look now at your constructors standings. As you can see, it is Mercedes that leads away, 231 points. They haven't run away with it so far. They've still got Ferrari around 20 points behind them. Racing Point's right there as well. They're actually a couple points behind, but it's still doable for them if they have a good result here this afternoon in Monza. They are on 174. They're actually 14 points ahead of McLaren in P4. P5 is Red Bull ahead of Williams, Renault, Alfa Romeo, Toro Rosso and Haas on one singular point. Let's go over now to your main screen, because as I can see now, the drivers are heading out for their qualifying session. 18 minutes they will have to set the fastest lap time possible around the Monza circuit. Let me know in the live chat as well your predictions for the Grand Prix here this afternoon. I'll try and read them out on stream. Thank you guys so much for joining as well. Going to be a great race here this afternoon. Obviously Monza always brings some really good racing here on the F1 game. Just with the toe, and if you can just stay within the toe of the driver in front of you and keep the DRS, you'll be able to overtake so easy around here, especially heading into the second chicane and turn 1. They're the main hotspots for overtaking around the circuit. Then you head through this little second sector section where you want to be. This is the area that you really need to save your ERS. You need to be running none and lean no matter what through here. This is pretty much the only place you can actually save your ERS, but as you can see, they're heading Curving Texas here, heading through the first and second Lesmo, so I don't really want to. We'll try and look at someone else though. A lot of the drivers are now just heading out for their laps, so obviously there's 18 minutes in this session, and it's currently, I'm just trying to make sure the stream's working good, there's 16 minutes remaining, so we're going to run on board with Dr. Dre as he looks like he'll be one of the first drivers to set a lap time. There's a couple in front of him, it looks like a Williams and a Red Bull. We're right on board with the Toro Rosso drivers. He heads through the parabolic and now onto the main front start finish straight, heading into the turn 1 chicane. We're going to be looking at around between the 100 and the 150 meter board in that sort of area. And then you want to be absolutely smashing that first curb. And the second curb, he doesn't really use too much of it. He's just trying to make sure he gets a bank lap in here. By the looks of it, it's a Toro Rosso driver, but he gets a very nice drive on the exit though, as he heads through this long right-hander. I always get this corner wrong, so I'm not even going to bother trying and saying that. He heads into the second chicane now, braking just around the 100 meter board. You want to absolutely smash that first curb again and the second curb there, but make sure you don't get on the gas too early, because you will force that car or your car off into the gravel trap heading through the first Lesmo. Now as you can see, Dre hasn't really hit that apex. Unfortunately, that's going to cost him a little bit of time, but it is only his first run. Obviously through the second Lesmo, he now heads onto this very long straight now, as he will have, well, the next braking zone here will be the Ascari chicane. He's got DRS wide open, braking around that 100 meter board, turn it in, very easy to corner cut as he's done there. As you can see, there's no real curve on the inside there of the Ascari chicane, so it's very easy to trick yourself or trick your eyes into turning in too early, but he's unfortunately invalidated his lap time here as Dr. Dre, so I believe he will come to the pits. Now you want to brake around the 50 meter board here for the Parabolica. Get on the gas as early as possible. That's the main thing around the circuit. You need to get on the gas as soon as possible so you can get as much straight line speed heading down the straights. Aaron leads away at the moment on 19.5, so he's actually 8/100ths of a second faster than Toddster. 40 now goes pole with the 19.1. And Toddster's in P3, as I said, 3/100 slower than Aaron's time. Curving now into P4. A couple of seconds off the pace there for the Renault driver. I think that was a banker lap there, most likely. for himself. It's going to be a really... I'm actually excited here this afternoon for a really... It's going to be a really good battle. Gaming Burger now, who has secured a full-time seat here at Williams, has now jumped himself up into the top 3 with a 19.2. 3 100ths of a second slower. So 2 100ths actually. Sorry, 2 1,000ths of a second slower than Extra Evolution's time. Then around a 10th, well, just under 5 tenths actually faster than 40. Sorry, is it 40? Sorry, my English right now is pretty shocking. I don't know why. Gunners has now got himself up in a P4. This is his second race in the Pacific Series League, and he did a really... He had looked like he was really quick in the Belgian Grand Prix. Looked like he had the pace, but unfortunately just made a couple of errors in that Alfa Romeo car and just wasn't able to get the result that I think he was looking for. I'm going to bring up the track now on my phone so I get the corners right. I know the majority of the corners. I just need to learn that right hand after the first chicane. Corner names. Here we go. Curva Grande, that's right. I'll remember that, hopefully. Cross here to P5 as well for Ferrari. So, obviously, this is Ferrari's home Grand Prix. Obviously, they did win here in the real-life Grand Prix as well. Did Charles Leclerc. Took a very promising win there for his career. Beating Lewis Hamilton, which would have given him a lot of confidence, knowing that he can beat a 7-time... Not a 7? I do not know what I'm saying right now. A 6-time Formula 1 World Champion, which is most likely going to be a 7. There's a very, very high chance that it will be a 7. Breno is heading down this straight now, heading into the Parabolica. He's only running in hot laps, so he doesn't seem to be pushing too much at the moment. Normally you want to run overtake when you're on the straights, or once you get to 6th gear or above, you want to run overtake because it does give you better straight line speed than being in hot lap mode. As he now heads down the main straight, you can see all the Tifosi on the left-hand side there. He now jumps himself into P8 there for the Haas F1 team. So obviously Haas have only scored one singular point here this season for their constructors. So Gunther Steiner's not going to be happy as Zach Ryan goes pole, unsurprisingly, with an 18.8. I can't actually swap up, so I'll have to go all the way through this order. I apologise. So Zach Ryan, 18.8 now. He goes to provisional pole position. Obviously, this is everyone's first run, so I'm sure the times will improve as the session goes on. I'm not too sure what the weather is doing either, so that would be nice to know. Hopefully one of the drivers can inform us of that. We'll message the Banana Cake Pie real quick now, see if he's able to inform us real quick on the weather, but this man currently sits on pole position at the moment. It is a pretty easy soft to medium strategy around here. Even potentially soft to hard if you want to pit a little bit earlier, but the hards just aren't the ideal tyre to go on, unfortunately. As you can see, 40's now exiting the pits. He's going to be setting up for his second run here. He's on the soft compound tyres, as I think everyone will be. I'll bring up here real quick best, so you can see what everyone's fastest time is on the left-hand side of your screen. So as you can see, it's very tight at the moment between our top 10. If I set this over to leader, you can see there's a second separating our top 10, or just over a second at the moment separating our top 11. We're very lazy cow. 1.1 seconds at the moment off the pace, but as I've said a couple of times already, it is only the first lap, or the first run for a lot of these drivers. Extra Evolution as well is going to be wanting to make a little statement here this afternoon for McLaren, trying to get his points back. He was looking, as I've said a couple of times this season, he was looking very good for even potentially this championship. He won the Australian Grand Prix, and I believe he came second. Yes, he did come second in the Bahrain Grand Prix after that epic battle with Zach Ryan in the Mercedes. So they legit passed each other into turn 1 every single lap for the last 15-ish laps. That was a very exciting race to commentate and also to watch. Have a couple of people rooting for each other. As you can see, Matt going for Aaron. He's your boyfriend. And Toddster, my side bay. Okay. I'm not getting into that argument. There's a couple of drivers that are on laps at the moment. We're going to ride on board with Gaming Burger. He's finally got a full-time seat here now in the PS4 Pacific Series Tier 1 League for the Rocket Williams team. See if he can score some good points here this afternoon. Not only to get their constructor standings up, but also to earn himself some good Drivers' Championship points as he heads through the second chicane. Nearly corner cuts there. Very easy to do through that second chicane. Romy Alonso gets out of the way on the right as he heads into the first Lesmo now. Goes to Gaming Burger. It's a little bit of oversteer. Also very easy to invalidate if you run too wide there. And also here, you need to keep the car within the white lines with at least 2 wheels within the inside the white painted lines as he is now trying to set up a line for Ascari, breaking around the 100-meter board, even a bit deeper in the qualifying session. Gets it turned very nicely there. Very easy to use a little bit too much curb there. The final part of the Ascari chicane, just throw the car off wide, but he rode that curb very nicely there. Did the Williams driver as he now heads up to the Parabolica. What lap time is he going to be able to set, braking just before the 50-meter board so he can get on the gas a little bit earlier. Very nice late apex there from the Williams driver, but does he keep it on track just as he now comes up to the line? I think this is going to be a very good lap here from the Gaming Burger. He's going to go up into P3 now. He's 2/10 off the pace, but he will get around to set another lap time later on in the session. You see 40's got 0.08 of a second now between himself and Zach Ryan, so unfortunately wasn't able to beat the Mercedes driver's time. He's still sitting in the pit lane, is the Mercedes car. So we need to point out as well, Spilly also does have a race ban. Sorry, not a race ban, qualifying ban here this afternoon. So he will be starting from the rear of the grid. Unfortunately, his teammate's down in P19 at the moment, who's now exiting the pits. That's XXJ Schmidt. He'll be wanting to potentially jump up a few more spots. He's 6 seconds off the pace, so I don't think it was a very representative lap time of his pace. Obviously, curving Texas is 2.8 seconds off the pace. He comes up to the line now, and he manages P11, 7/10 off the pace. Extra evolution, pole position now with the 18.6. He's a 10th, or just under 2/10 of a second faster than Zach Crichton. So now this will be a little wake-up call here for the Mercedes driver. As you can see, he's now exiting the pit lane. He will need to find a little over 2/10 of a second if he wants any chance of getting, or just under 2/10 of a second if he wants any chance of getting pole position here this afternoon. 40 is still holding on to P3. Obviously, he has just completed his lap. He will go back around to the pits to set another lap time. We'll have to see. Hopefully, Ferrari can have a nice showing here this afternoon. Obviously, it is the home Grand Prix for Ferrari and the Tifosi. So they'll be wanting a really good result here. Hopefully there's no spins at the Ascari chicane for either of them. That's a very nice lap there from Extra Evolution. We'll have to see if he can improve on it. He will definitely get another run in. Even potentially Zach Crichton if he might be able to get another run in if he hurries up here. He does have a Williams behind. Is that Gaming Burger? No, it actually looks like it is Todster. So Toddy's on a lap here. Actually, no, he's not. He's on an out lap. So Toddy looks like he's trying to keep with Zach Crichton now. He might want to tow from the Mercedes driver. You can gain so much time from getting a tow around this circuit. He's actually, and Todster are both trying to get some heat into the tyres, but you don't want to be too close to the driver in front of you. I think Toddy's now finally backed out. He knows that he's a little bit too close, but we're going to ride on board. We're going to watch Toddy's lap here, as well as he heads through the Parabolica to start his second time lap here of the Monza Italian Grand Prix circuit. 6 minutes and 27 seconds remaining in the session as well. This is where the fastest lap times of the session are going to be coming. Racer X wants Racing Point to pick up the pace. Currently down to P19 and 20, but I don't think Schmidt set a very good lap time as of yet. But we're going to keep going board now with Tots as he heads through the Curva Grande, through turn 3, heading up to turn 4 and 5. This second chicane under the Pirelli board, braking just around that 100-meter board. Didn't really get the maximum braking out of that Williams car. He could have braken a little bit later there, could the Williams driver. Heading through the first Lesmo now. That's a very nice late apex. Gets on the gas pedal very early, which is what you need to do around this Monza circuit. As straight line speed is absolutely everything around this circuit, and you want to be running as minimal downforce as possible. You normally run around 1.4 maybe. That's probably 1.5 maximum. You could run 2 if you are really struggling with turning in. As he heads through the Ascari chicane, or exits the Ascari chicane I should say, does Todser. Trying to set up now the Parabolica. Zach Crichton's also right in front, so we'll have to see what lap time he's able to do. We're going to go back on Zach Crichton as he comes up to the line. He's invalidated now as Zach, so he unfortunately invalidated at that last corner. We're going to go now to Todster. What time is he going to be able to set? Only manages P5 behind his teammate. Now Aaron up into P4 as well with 4/10 off the pace. Set a 19 flat there. Zach Crichton obviously setting a, sorry, not Zach Crichton, Revolution setting an 18.6, so no need for that, Mackenzie. I don't know why you're saying that, but okay. So Spilly is actually out of the pits now, so I'm not too sure what he's doing. I think he might just be going around, because he does have a qualifying ban. We need to remember that. I think he's just going around to try and just make sure that his setup will stay on. He shouldn't be doing a lap. He hasn't validated, so I'm not too sure. Is he actually... I think he might be towing his teammate. He's technically not supposed to. He should be coming back into the pits now. He is, so I think he was just trying to make sure he did get a setup or a lap in. Jay Schmidt only managed to get P16 there with a 20 flat, so About a second off the pace at the moment is the Racing Point driver. A second and a half off the pace at the moment is the Racing Point driver. You have to try and find that later on in the session. Try and find someone that is on a lap at the moment. Doesn't actually look like anyone is. A lot of the drivers will be coming out now. The pits, BKXI exiting the pits as he heads through the Curva Grande now. Goes to Mercedes driver. Unfortunately, he's not in the ideal spot that I think he would like to be. His teammate's up in a P2, so he'll be wanting to improve on his time a little bit there. Let me know some more live predictions in the chat as well. I will read them out on stream. Thank you guys so much for joining as well. If you guys are new around here, please do hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to get notified when the stream does go live. As you can see, the socials on the right hand side of your screen right now. Be sure to go give them a like and a follow as well. Sign up link is also in the description as well if you would like to sign up to Spec F1 Esports. Obviously, we are at round 14, but Season 3 is going to be bigger than ever. We're going to be having at least 3 tiers of Pacific Series, so it's going to be very tight. Maybe even 4 if we can get enough drivers, so that will be absolutely insane if we can get 4, but Spec has majorly expanded in the last couple of months, or just this season alone. So you can see that Zach Krine now exiting the pit lane as he heads down the Monza pit lane. Going to go on board with BK because I believe he is on a lap now. He's coming up to turn 1 now. Braking just before that 100-meter board. Uses that curb nicely through turn 2. Doesn't really keep the minimum speed up nicely, but it should give him, in theory, a better exit if you got on the gas nicely. Heading through the Curva Grande, running a little bit wide, so that's going to be costing him a little bit in straight line speed or just overall track distance he's got to cover. Braking very deep under brakes. He's going to validate here. Unfortunately, he has. So if he can slow it down here, try and save a bit of fuel, he might be able to go or stay back on these tyres and go back around. Just set another lap because he won't have enough time to go back to the pits and put on a new set of tyres. But Zach Krine and Next Revolution are now out of the pit lane. Revolution's obviously in front, but this is going to be another tight battle, I reckon, between these two here this afternoon. And we can't let 40 be out of the question as well. He's exiting the pits with 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining in the session. So is Aaron Berger and Toddster. So Plebs is the only one in the pits, but he's actually exiting now. So pretty much every driver is out on track at the moment. Tao, I think that was just him exiting the pits. It is. So Tao is now exiting the pits. And Spilly, so every driver except for Spilly is out on track at the moment. So Spilly obviously does have that qualifying ban, so he's not permitted to go out onto the track. So it's understandable from his point of view. But 19 drivers at the moment are out on track. You can see here, Tao's actually going to give Revolution a tow here, I think. He's giving him a nice tow heading down this straight. This will help him a little bit. I don't think they're really close enough, and Tao's a little bit off the line there, so it's not really going to give him the ideal tow. And he's locked up now as Revolution. He's made a mistake now as the McLaren driver, so his qualifying session looks like it's done. So now it looks like Zach Crichton, so Revolution will not get another lap in, I believe. He actually didn't invalidate, but he definitely would have lost a bunch of time. As you can see, he's dropped it back down to none, so he might be able to try and get back around, but I don't think he'll have enough time. Zach Crichton is heading through the second sector now, through the Lesmos. He now heads, carrying very nice mid-apex speed there. Nearly ran it out wide and invalidated this time. Heading through the second Lesmo. This corner, you mainly want to focus on getting a better exit and not worry about mid-corner speed as much. And to make sure you get on the gas pedal as soon as possible. Not too sure how much he's up on his time. We'll get a little reading here. He's actually only 3/100ths up on his time at the moment. And he's run wide here as Zach Crichton. He's made an error and he's battled it, but in a lot more dramatic of a way. So I think 40 is on a lap as well. Pretty much every driver's on a lap, so we're going to go on board with 40 now. He had a purple first sector, so that is a promising first sign there for the Ferrari driver. Will Ferrari be able to get pole position here at their home race as he heads through the second Lesmo? Trying to see who's right behind him. It's actually a Red Bull. That's Aaron. So Aaron could be on for a potential pole here. If he gets a very nice run, he's going to get a little or very slight tow here from 40 as they head down the straight, heading to Ascari. So this could really help Aaron. If he was a little bit closer, it would help him a little bit more. But Arnicake Pie's retired. He's down in P18 at the moment. 40 has another purple sector, so he's looking very promising here. It is 40-22. He's just got to manage this Parabolica chicane now. Not chicane, this Parabolica corner. Just keep all tyres within all four tyres within the white painted lines, and he'll be right as he heads through there now. Very nice exit. Will Ferrari be able to go to pole position here in the Italian Grand Prix? Yes, they will with an 18.5. 40 goes to provisional pole position, but obviously Aaron only managed P4 there. He Set at 1 minute 19.0, so he wasn't able to get into the 1 minute 18s there. Who else is on a lap? It looks like Gunners is on a lap still. Actually, no, he's backed out of it, so unfortunately for himself, he's not going to be able to set a faster lap time. F1 Hawk is backed out of his lap. Is Curving Texas on a lap? No, he's backed out. He's going into the pits. What is Tao going to be able to do? No, unfortunately for himself, he has, unfortunately, invalidated his time, so that looks like your grid has been settled here. Ferrari on pole at home, in front of the Tifosi. It's exactly like the real-life Italian Grand Prix. Congratulations to 40. Hopefully he'll be able to convert that over to a win here this afternoon in front of his home crowd. So he takes pole position ahead of the McLaren of X Revolution. Zach Crine in P3 ahead of Aaron L304 for Red Bull in P4. P5 is the Gaming Burger. Romeo Alonso P6, and it'll be the other Williams of Todson. P7, Plevs managed to get himself up in a P8 for Renault. P9 will be the other Ferrari of Crossi, so he'll be pretty disappointed considering his teammate was on pole. And then rounding out your top 10 will be Gunners 0405. Jay Schmidt will be the first of the runners that will be on a fresh set of tyres. In P11 for Racing Point, F1 Hawk in P12, Dr. Dre P13 ahead of Curving Texas, Breno, Toes Rudy, Very Lazy Tail, Banana K Pie, BKXI, and Spilly. Rounds out your qualifying session. We'll be back with you shortly. Stay tuned as well. Sorry, I left that little thing on the right-hand side up, but we'll be back with you shortly for the Italian Grand Prix. Do stay tuned. As you can see now on your screens, the drivers are heading out for their formation lap around the 5.793 kilometer circuit here located in Monza. Let me know some predictions in the live chat as well. Thank you guys so much for joining. It's going to be a massive, or it's going to be a very exciting Grand Prix here this afternoon. 40 taking pole position here in front of the Ferrari home fans. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Darth? No, I did not. I have zero idea what you're talking about, Max James. Spilly reckons he'll be P12 by lap 2. He's currently down in last at the moment, is Spilly. Unfortunately, got that qualifying ban for Racing Point, so he will be at the rear of the grid. We'll have to see if he can get into the top 12 by the end of lap 2. If you can keep your nose clean at turn 1 as well, and just make sure you don't get any front wing damage, you'll be right as well. You'll just be able to get through nice and cleanly. Bring up tyres as well so we can see what tyres every driver is on. You see the top 12 all opting to start on the Red Stripe soft tyre. Then if you go down here to Breno, Curving Texas, and Dr. Dre 3000, they're all opting to start on that medium compounded tyre. They will be going a little bit longer to this Grand Prix compared to others because they are on the more durable tyre. Obviously, they aren't as grippy though as a soft, so we'll have to see how that strategy works for them. And Spilly is also on the mediums down in position 20. So 40 is now coming towards the end of the formation lap. He probably should slow up a little bit more here to back up the pack. As you can see, that's what he's trying to do. So everyone bunches up in his tyres, so he isn't sitting on the grid for as long. That's the idea of it, so your tyres don't get too cold. You see the drivers are now forming up on the grid. We're right on board with Spilly as he will be the last driver to form up on the grid. Race X, go 40, win it for the prancing horse. You got to take potentially home some good points here this afternoon for Ferrari and the squad championship. But they have all lined up on the grid. You see our championship leader Zach Crine at the moment in position 3. We'll try and do some post-race interviews as well. We'll see how we're going with time, but the light sequence is now beginning for the Italian Grand Prix. 5 red lights ahead of the drivers, and we are underway. Very quick start, and it looks like 40 got a little bit of wheel spin off the start there. I think Revolution's going to go alongside him. Heading into turn 1, and that's the Alfa Romeo there of Romeo Alonso getting pushed off near the wall, and X Revolution's getting up the inside line. Heading into turn 1, he's going to take the lead of the Italian Grand Prix from 40-22 as they head through turn 1, and it all looks like it's pretty clean at the back. Zach Crine's lost a spot here to Aaron L304 off the start. They're going to go side by side through the Curva Grande on the opening lap. Here Red Bull trying to make the move on Mercedes. Will they be able to get the job done? It looks like 40's also trying to get the job done on Revolution, but he wasn't able to. Zach Crine gets the move, or holds on to P3 there after a pretty poor start there from the Mercedes driver, but Todser holding on to P5. Gaming Burger P6. I'll swap this over here. 2 position change so we can see he's dropped massively. Romeo Alonso's dropped his position down in P7. Schmidt's up into P8 already. He's up 3 spots. P9 for Crossy F1. And Plebs has actually dropped a couple spots in. He's around. That's Plebs, I think. Not. It's actually Curving Texas. So Curving Texas is around at the second Lesmo, and he does have massive damage, and I believe he got caught up there with BK. And there's a virtual safety car. There's also Breno got caught up in that. Don't think Breno has any wing damage though, but BK and Curving Texas definitely do. They're going to have to come into the pit lane this lap, so their race is pretty much done and dusted. It looks like the safety car will be just about to end as it has now. So Revolution has a 7/10 lead at the moment over the prancing horse of 40-22 as they start the second lap of 27 here in Monza. 80% of the lap here is taken flat out. As now it looks like Gamingberger and Romeo Alonso are now going at it, heading into the first chicane. They do make contact, and it looks like the racing point now. Schmidt's going to get himself up into P6, actually. He's going to draw alongside Romeo Alonso, and that's a car off into the escape road there. I think that was F1 Hawk, unfortunately, for Haas. They're going to be dropping positions left, right, and centre. But now it looks like Jay Schmidt's still going to try and hold the inside line as they head into the second chicane. He's going to be deeper under brakes. Then Romeo Alonso, he's going to get the move done. No, Romeo holds it around the outside, but Jay Schmidt with the wider line is going to get the better traction, and he's going to get the job done. That's a Williams there of Gamingberger having to defend from Plebs. This is for the battle of P9 in this Grand Prix. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1. I think that's F1 Hawk, who unfortunately has retired from the session. Curving Texas all the way down in P19 and BK down in position 20. So their races are pretty much ruined here this afternoon. There's a pretty high chance we will see a safety car as well in this Grand Prix. These top 3 are now starting to edge away ever so slightly from Aaron L304. Aaron's just outside of DRS range at the moment. These top 3 are all within DRS range of each other. So Todser is within DRS range of Aaron in front of him. So I think he's going to try and set up a move potentially on the next lap. Main passing spots around the Italian Grand Prix or Monza circuit is heading into turn 1 here with the DRS, and then also heading into this the second chicane, not this corner. So you'll head through the Curva Grande that they are about to head through of turn 3, but then the next chicane of turn 4 and 5. Breno 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It's unfortunately for him. He's going to have to serve that in his next pit stop. He'll have to serve that at the end of the Grand Prix. This chicane is also a very nice overtaking spot as well. So 40 is trying to close that gap, but obviously dirty air is not the most ideal thing as they head through the second sector here. With running such low downforce, it's so hard to follow. As you see 40's just juggling the steering wheel to keep it on track. Go through your order real quick as we are midway through lap 3. Revolution leads the way ahead of the Ferrari 40-22, Zach Crichton, Aaron Todd, so round out your top 5. Romeo Alonso has a really angry battle behind him of Crossy F1, Schmidt, Gaming Burger and Plebs. This is the Romeo Alonso train at the moment. An Alonso train, I've never actually heard that. They now are all slipstreaming each other here. As you can see, Jay Schmidt trying to defend the slipstream. He's moved a couple of times, so I don't think Crossy will be too happy with him moving that many times as he now heads into turn 1. He has DRS available to him, braking heavily for the turn 1 chicane. He's going to try and hold it there as Schmidt, but he's got to leave room on the outside for the Ferrari. They made contact there. Schmidt didn't leave him much room on eggs, and they unfortunately touch wheels, so now this is only going to help Gaming Burger. He's got a very nice run as they head through the Curva Grande. Will he be able to get the job done? He does. He gets himself now up into P7 quite comfortably before the braking zone, but will Schmidt try and fight it back? He doesn't. He's got Crossy still on his outside there. And they do make more contact, does Schmidt and Crossy, and I think Crossy just gave Schmidt back what he gave to him, so I think that's quite fair, to be honest. Another yellow flag in Sector 2, I think that is Dr. Dre, but we'll go back to that very shortly. The Crossy F1 still now up into PA. Jay Schmidt's lost the spot as well to Plebs, who's now right in that slipstream. Plebs defends the inside line as they head into the Ascari chicane. Will he be able to slot that car down the inside? No, he won't. So he's going to have to sit there for a little bit longer now. Is Jay Schmidt, unfortunately. Got pushed out by Crossy, but he did push Crossy out when they went through turn 140s into the lead of the Grand Prix. I do apologise, I didn't get that on stream. So now the prancing horse has taken the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. But Revolution's obviously going to have DRS and a very nice slipstream as they head down the front. Start finish straight. He's going to go alongside now of the Ferrari as they head into turn 1. And he's going to get that move done quite comfortably. There is X Revolution. I feel like this is what it's going to be pretty much all race. He does lock the inside front there, does Revolution. So that's going to hurt or hinder his run as they head on the exit of turn 2 into turn 3 of the Curva Grande. Alright guys, please keep the chat relevant, please. Relevant to the race or F1, just keep it on the topic, please. Very lazy town now. 3-second time penalty in P13 as well. So unfortunately for himself, I believe he is one of the first drivers that have got himself a penalty, so that's going to hurt him at the end of the race. So Revolution still leads the way at the moment. 40 MP2. 40 will obviously get that slipstream and DRS this time around, but he's actually got a little bit of a gap now as Revolution. 4/10 of a second separate himself and the Ferrari behind him. I don't think 40's going to get a move done here, but obviously the slipstream in this game is very powerful. As you can see, he's really gaining here. Here's 40. He's going to go to the inside line now. By the looks of it, he pulls out alongside. Into turn 1 they now head. He's going to stay alongside him though as Revolution, but it's 40. He's going to try to do the switchback, and he made contact there with Zach Crichton, I think. Zach tried to stick his nose down there, but 40 unfortunately won't be able to get the run. I think BK's retired, he has, so now there has been 2 retirements from the Grand Prix of BK and F1 Hawk. Breno's actually backed out here, so I think Breno's car has failed, unfortunately for himself, so I think he will be retiring from the Italian Grand Prix as well. He needs to do it in the pit lane. He's not supposed to do it out here, and he has done it out here, so I think we may even potentially see a safety car here. I'm not too sure. The Revolution still leads away at the moment. Plebs has now got himself, Plebs and Schmidt I should say, are going at it. I think Schmidt tried to stick his nose down the inside heading through the second Lesmo. And who's that making a move now? Banana Cake Pie around the outside of Jay Schmidt. He's really making moves there. Is the Red Bull driver. He actually cuts that corner there, does Banana. He doesn't really get the most ideal line to. He's kind of forced to be honest, but he's looking very strong down the straight line here as Banana. Obviously, well, he must be running a little bit lower downforce to Plebs and Jay Schmidt, but will Banana be able to get a double move to here done? He got one done heading before the Ascari chicane, and will he be able to get it done on Plebs? Banana looking very strong here in this Grand Prix. He's going to be in the slipstream. He's going to pull to the inside line very early here on Plez. Will he be able to get the job done? He does. I don't think Plez deserves too much of a fight, but look, Schmidt tried to stick his nose down there. He was a little bit deeper than Pleb, so he had really nowhere to go, but Toes Rudy also tried to do the same thing. I do think they made contact. There's they headed into turn 1, but I'm not too sure. Doesn't look like either of them have damage. Alright guys, I'm just handing out timeouts now. Chuck me an invite expert, I'll join you in the commentary box. Make a party, BK, and invite me, and I'll join because I haven't got a party going, so make a party yourself and invite me and tell me when you do, and you can join me in the commentary box for a little bit. So unfortunately, BK has retired from the sessions. He will try and join us here, but now 40's trying to make a move on the McLaren driver, and he's going to get the job done pretty easily, obviously, with that DRS and slipstream. It's pretty easy to do heading to turn 1. Zach Crichton's still right there. Todser has 2.4 seconds between himself and Zach Crichton, so... Sorry guys, just give me 1 second. I'm just going to join BK's invite to the party. She still hasn't invited me, so I'll put that back. So let me know, BK, when you do invite me. So they are on lap 8 now, by the way. I need to point that out. So 19 laps remaining in the Italian Grand Prix. It looks like it's a 3-man race at the moment. Obviously, safety car has not exited the pit lane yet, so we could potentially see that later on in the race when the drivers do start to push a little bit more, but you see there's a massive train at the moment back here between all these drivers, and Dr. Dre's unfortunately spun out at the second. Lesmo really close in was Crossy. Crossy nearly rear-ended the back of Dr. Dre, and I think Dre does have end plate damage. He does, so unfortunately for himself, he's going to have to come into the pit lane this lap. Curving Texas running a pretty lonely P17 at the moment. Sorry guys, give me 1 second. Alright, we're back. Sorry about that. Just trying to join BK's party, but Revolution on lap 9 of 27 still leads away. You there, BK? Or still loading in probably. So Revolution. Zach's lost a couple of spots here. Sorry, a bit of time here to 40, but are you there now, Bailey? Can you hear me? Oh, my mic's muted. That might be an idea. Bailey, can you hear me now?
Yeah, expert, we're good. Okay,
sweet. So, I apologise for that. My mic was muted. But anyway, Revolution leads away. So, what happened there to you, BK? We'll start off with that.
Alright, so I'll give you a quick rundown of my race. I suppose this is my little post-race interview we got going on here.
Pretty much.
But pretty much, I had a killer start. I gained like 5-6 places heading into the first corner. And then I was coming through the Lesmos, and then Curving Texas, he ran a little bit wide in the gravel, lost the back end, and unfortunately I got caught up in it.
Yeah,
okay. Was gone.
That's right, I remember seeing that. So unfortunately, yeah, so did you actually retire, or did you retire in the pit lane?
I just retired the car out of choice, because if Spilly didn't have that qualifying ban, I was already the last one on track. So, yeah. Quite frankly, it's the third race in a row now I've done where my night's been over on lap 1, so I'm sick of it.
It's unfortunate. So, 40 and Revolution are both in the pit. Zach's opted to stay out for an extra lap, so that could hurt him a little bit here. I think if anything, he should have been pitting earlier than these two. But we'll see what happens with him as Extra Revolution now leads away still, or provisionally leads away. Zach Crime leads away on track. But this is actually really good here for Revolution, because look who's right in front of himself. It's actually Crossy F1, and Crossy is a teammate to 40-22 behind. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see some games been played here by Crossy, potentially holding up the McLaren, so 40 can catch back up. Does he dive down the inside? Yeah. Crossy defends the inside line, so doesn't look like he's going to give up this position very easy here as Crossy. He's going to defend the inside line again as they head into the first Lesmo. He's going to really back up Revolution here, but he needs to slow up a little bit more. He's going to go down the inside. Now is Revolution. He thought about making a move heading to the second Lesmo, but he got really nice traction there. Did X Revolution. Unfortunately, with that DRS, I think that little battle's going to be over. 40 didn't really gain too much off, and I think Crossy's just going to let 40 go here, is what we just said. So Revolution lost a little bit of time there. He had a pretty nice pit stop, and he's got himself a penalty now as 40. So a provisional...
Zach's in the pits.
So unfortunately for himself now, 40 has got himself a penalty. Zach is into the pit lane, so I don't think he'll be able to undercut any of these drivers. He does get held in the pits a little bit there by the Williams. Oh, the Todster, I believe that is. So that's not going to help him. He could potentially fall out of DRS range now, so we're going to ride on board here with X Revolution as they exit the pits. As you can see, Zach's really losing here. He's lost a lot of time now pitting that extra lap late. He definitely should have pit on that same lap. So unfortunately for himself, he's now actually going to have DRS. Sorry, Aaron's going to have DRS on him from behind. So that's really hurt him in the pit stops here.
Yeah, Zach made the strategical choice to go for that overcut, and unfortunately it hasn't paid off. I was thinking that maybe with Revolution joining right behind Crossy, that maybe Zach could have had an advantage there, but X Revolution and 4022 both getting that undercut jump on Zach Crichton. So Revolution leading 40. That is the current provisional battle for P1 at the moment.
So it's P2 Banana at the moment. He's currently sitting in P2 for Red Bull. He's up 16 spots. Spilly's up 17 slots at the moment. I actually didn't check. Spilly predicted he'd be P12 by lap 2. I completely forgot to check that. So not too sure where he is or where he was on lap 2. But he's up 12 spots. So 17 spots. Don't know what I'm doing. He's up 17 spots at the moment. Is the Racing Point driver. Banana is obviously on that. He's actually gone onto the softs now as Banana. I believe he started. Actually, no, he did start on the softs. That's right. So he's coming into the pit lane now. He was making some pretty nice moves as Banana K-Par. I'm not too sure if you're watching or not, but he did a pretty nice move on Jay Schmidt heading down into the Ascari chicane.
Yeah, I missed a few laps after I pulled my car in, but Banana Cake Pie able to gain a great load of positions there. And everyone now is on the medium compound tyre, except for Curving Texas, who pit earlier on in the Grand Prix. Seems like he's definitely opting for a 2-stop today. And Spilly, he's still out on his worn mediums. I think he's going to be going for that reverse medium to soft compound tyre strategy. So Spilly, he could be fairly quick towards the end of this Grand Prix Expo.
We'll have to see how he goes with tyre wear as well, because he will have pretty fresh tyres compared to all the others in that case. So we'll have to see if he's able to get that back though, because obviously slipstream and DRS around this place is absolutely key to getting overtakes done and catching up to other drivers. So Revolution runs a little bit wide there on the exit of the second Lesmo, but I don't think it's really an opportunity to get a pass done heading into the Ascari chicane. I think the smartest thing for 40 here is just to sit behind X Revolution in front and just save up and his ERS and build it up towards the end. Then towards the end of the race, he can really use it up and make a move on X Revolution. He's currently on 78% and Revolution's on 20. So even if 40 just hangs it out for a little bit longer behind the McLaren in front, he might be able to just let Revolution drain his ERS and then get the overtake done and absolutely drain his ERS, can 40, to try and pull away from X Revolution.
Yeah, 40 right now, he is in a big advantage. He has that DRS open. X Revolution is going to defend the inside line, but 40 is just going to hold it, and he's able to get completely past the McLaren there before they even reach the braking zone for that first corner. So 40-22, the new provisional race leader here in Monza, and what a result this would be for Scuderia Ferrari and the Tifosi here today.
So obviously they did qualify on pole position, did the Scuderia Ferrari team, so they're going to be wanting to convert that over to the win here this afternoon. They've got 3.9 seconds between 40 and Spilly at the moment, but I don't think Spilly will put up too much of a fight. I don't think it would be smart to anyway, because it's just going to cost himself and 40 time for no reason, to be honest. It'd be smart for Spilly actually to slot in between 40 and Revolution, or just even behind them, so that he can get towed along if these two do catch up. It would help him massively when it comes to strategy.
Yeah, and if that happens as well, with Spilly maybe slotting in behind this battle between the Ferrari and the McLaren, if Spilly falls back far enough, Zach Crichton could actually get a bit of a tow from Spilly, which could actually propel Zach into this battle for the lead. Zach Crichton, his night is definitely not over, and if Zach can just get his head down, try and focus, he might be able to catch up to 40 in Revolution here.
So he really hurt him that pit stop. Now he is out of DRS and slipstream range. So obviously with 40 and Revolution both being within slipstream and DRS range, those two are just going to tow each other further and further away from Zach. He's currently got 1.8 seconds separating himself and the McLaren, but if he can just get within that slipstream range and DRS range of 1 second, then it will just really help him and tow him along down the straights, and he'll be able to catch back up to this little battle pack for the lead of the Grand Prix. But Aaron has unfortunately dropped off from Zach as well. He has Toddster behind him, 7/10 of a second separate those two, and Toddy unfortunately has no ERS to play with at the moment. Aaron only has 17%, so it's very hard to save ERS around here. Obviously with this whole second sector, you really do not want to be touching your ERS. You want to have it in none and lean, just to save as much ERS as possible, because there's no real other places to save it, to be honest, around this track.
Yeah, Monza is one of those tracks where it's high power, high ERS usage, high fuel usage, all just the works, all of it. And it's one of those tracks where, as well, if you're a sitting duck like Zach Crichton is right now, you can't really make too much progress. I mean, Spilly and Revolution, so not Spilly, 40 and Revolution, they're making great progress on catching up to Spilly. And also Aaron and Toddster. I think if those two guys can work together, they might still be able to be outside shots at winning this Grand Prix. But there's still, what, 13 laps to go? And,
yeah, 15, so we've got a while to go still.
Yeah, lap 15 to 27. This race definitely not over, ladies and gentlemen, as X Revolution has made an overtake for second place.
So obviously these two keep swapping around a lot, and I think, I'm not too sure, did 40 get DRS there off Spilly? I'm not too sure. But I think this is going to be unfortunate here for 40, because Revolution's also going to get DRS, I believe, from Spilly. We'll have to see if the Racing Point driver does put up a little battle. Wouldn't be the smartest thing to do, to be honest. You can see how much more grip Revolution did have just there heading into the braking zone. Obviously on these fresher medium tyres, Revolution will get DRS this time around as they head on the exit of the second Lesmo down to the Ascari chicane. And you see he's going to open DRS.
We could see an overtake for the lead right here.
We could potentially. I think I don't know. Will he try and go to the inside line? Spilly defends it actually, so.
Billy.
Is he going to back out, or is he trying to defend it actually? He's actually going to back out here, so he's going to let Revolution go, but this is not what 40 wanted, because now 40's lost a lot of time here to Revolution. This has really hurt or hindered his run. Spilly's actually trying to fight it back now to 40, so Crossy does have a 3-second penalty, and we need to remember as well in this Grand Prix, 40 does have a 3-second penalty he'll have to serve at the end of this Grand Prix, so that's going to hurt him potentially if Revolution doesn't get one himself.
Yeah, penalties could come into factor here with the drivers this close, and one thing as well to note is that Zach Crichton is just over a second now behind Spilly, so if Zach can just keep his head down just a little bit longer and crack within that special DRS range of Spilly, we could see Zach Crichton potentially back in this fight for the lead. But right now, Revolution P1, 40 P2, Spilly in third.
Spilly is in... I'm not so sure where Spilly is actually at the moment, but provisionally Zach Crichton's in P3. Is Revolution. There we go. He's off the track. Revolution's off the track heading through the second chicane. So, did they make contact there? I'm not too sure if you saw that on your POV, but 40 is there into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix, and Revolution just got himself a 3-second penalty.
Yeah, all of a sudden in the last 10-15 seconds, Revolution's race has gone from a potential race win, and it's just, at the moment, it has gone horribly wrong. A slight mistake or a bit of contact with that Ferrari. I'm not too sure what happened, but that combined with a 3-second time penalty, and this lap 16 has been a nightmare for X Revolution. And someone who, 40, he has a little bit of a relief now with Spilly in second, but Zach Crichton is right behind him as Spilly does peel into the pits right now. He should be going onto the soft compound tyres, and Zach Crichton now with DRS. So if he can utilise DRS here on this straight, he might be able to close that gap to under a second to 40, and then we could see Ferrari versus Mercedes for the win of this Italian Grand Prix.
So if you want to quickly check for our speed count to see what the go is with Zach's warnings, that'd be great, because we do know that 40 and Revolution do have 3-second penalties at least, and I don't believe Zach Crichton has got one as of yet, so if you want to quickly update us on that.
Zach Crichton has a 3-second time penalty as well. 3-second time penalty, no additional warning. So it should be an even playing field here between our top 3 runners, all with 3 seconds worth of time penalties.
So it is an even playing field at the moment. Now, as we talk about 3-second penalties, Plevs in the Renault down in P8 unfortunately just got himself a penalty for the Renault team. He's down in P8 at the moment. So it looks at Curving Texas and Dr. Dre also swapping positions down in position 17 and 18. Actually, I think Dr. Dre just came in the pits, or just exited the pits.
Yeah,
he's
just coming for a fresh set of soft tyres.
There's 10 laps remaining in the Italian Grand Prix. Obviously, it is a very quick race here as well because 80% of the lap is flat out around the circuit, and there's only 27 laps. So it's going to be a really tight battle here as we come to the end stages of this Grand Prix. Revolution is 1.3 seconds between himself and Zach Crichton.
Yeah, 1.3 separating Revolution and Zach, and then 1.2 separating Zach and 40. So the gaps between these top 3 drivers here fairly similar at the moment. And if I was Revolution in this case, I would want to be able to get in Zach's DRS before Zach can break into 40's DRS. Because if Zach gets in 40's DRS before Revolution can get into Zach's DRS, it'll be much more difficult for that McLaren to catch up to this lead pack.
I'm just handing out timeouts now to you guys as well in the chat. Stop being dumb, please. It's no need. Anyway, we'll go back to this battle. 9 laps remaining in the Grand Prix. 40 as 1.6 seconds at the moment over Zach Crichton. But actually, if you have a look at the gaps now, Revolution is under a second to Zach Crichton.
Has DRS.
He does have DRS, so Zach doesn't seem to really have the pace at the moment. I'm not too sure if he's just running a little bit more downforce compared to the 2 in front of him. But I think the smartest thing for Zach would be here is to not really fight Revolution and just let him get in front and then try and save DRS and get towed along by Revolution practically, because he's obviously faster at the moment. But now Spilly's also making a move on Toes Rudy. We'll go have a look at that for you. As there's a little bit of a battle pack here at the moment. This is for the battle of P10, led by Very Lazy Towel. So I think a couple of moves will be made here. We're going to ride on board with Toes Rudy, see if he's able to take any advantage of anything happening here. There's yellow flag in sector 2. I think that's just the local one. But unfortunately, he had a very poor run there to Toes Rudy. Now Spilly's going to get a very nice run here. I think Spilly might even get a double overtake here. He's got the move done on Banana, and he's also going to have a DRS and Slipstream here on Tau. So will he go to the outside line? He does. To the outside line, he now goes. Does Spilly? He's going to get a double overtake done here. Here's a Racing Point driver. Tau tries to go back down the inside, but unfortunately locks the inside brake. And will not be able to hold on to that position. So Spilly up 3 spots in the space of a sector. So good job there from the Racing Point driver. The next victim he will have to face will be his teammate of Jay Schmidt.
Yeah, what a fantastic sequence of overtakes there from Spilly, propelling himself up into the points as Dr. Dre sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. And, Spilly, he needed to get those overtakes done as quickly as he can, because him being on a soft compound tyre, he should be one of the fastest drivers on track right now. And, Plevs and Jay Schmidt are battling up ahead in 8th, so hopefully those two can hold each other up enough for Spilly to work his way deeper into the top 10 and to get some more points for Racing Point today.
Spilly has 5.2 seconds at the moment between himself and his teammate, but as you just pointed out, Plevs and Jay Schmidt are battling at the moment for position 8 at the moment. I think Jay Schmidt might be able to get a move done here on the Renault. They head into turn 1, or they head down the main straight. Plevs pulls over to the right there. So I think he was pretty confident he wasn't going to be able to defend that position, and he just lets Jay Schmidt go. And I think the smartest thing for Plevs here would to be sit in a Slipstream and DRS, try and catch up to Romeo Alonso and Gaming Burger up in P7 and 6. Gaming Burger's doing a very nice job here, considering this is his first, This is his first full-time seat here this afternoon in the PS4 Pacific's Tier 1 League. He's currently being led by his teammate of Toddster, but obviously Toddy has been a full-time driver in this league for a little bit longer, has a little bit more experience in Formula 1 full-time, so we'll have to see if Aaron and Toddster, well, these two obviously have been battling in this league for quite some time. Obviously, go back to the Hungary race where those two ended up staying. Oh, it was a wet race, I believe it was, for those two, and those two were battling for the lead of the Hungarian Grand Prix, and I think Aaron ended up winning that in the end from Toddster. So these two do have a little bit of history behind their battles, and I think Revolution's now going to try and get a move done on Zach Crichton. There's 0.2 of a second between those two, and I think you can see Zach just pulled out to the right-hand side there. He's not going to try and fight Revolution. It'd be smart here just to go back in that slipstream, but you can see the straight line difference. Revolution 340 k's an hour, and Zach just pulling 330 as he got into the braking zone. So that DRS and slipstream has really helped him there, did Revolution. But now I think what Zach's little task is here is to just stay within DRS and slipstream of Revolution, which he's actually nearly fallen out of. 5/10 already between those two, so he needs to get a little bit closer to, well, he will get DRS, but he's not going to get an ideal slipstream on the McLaren in front of him, which he needs to keep so he can try and catch up to 40-22 in the lead of this Grand Prix. But there's 6 laps remaining, so let me know some more predictions in the live chat.
Revolution has DRS right now. He's within a second of 40-22, so Revolution now, DRS flap is open. Zach Crichton as well with DRS. So 40 had a little bit of relief from Revolution and Zach behind, but now the top 3 separated by just around a second. And with almost 6 laps to go now, we should have a great 3-way scrap for the race win ahead. But that as well is implying that Zach can actually keep up with 40 and Revolution, because this afternoon, Expert, it just looks like that 40 and Revolution are just a little bit quicker than Zach at the moment.
As you can see now, X Revolution goes to the inside line, and he's going to take the lead off the Ferrari of 40-22, but obviously he has had DRS and slipstream. 40 will now get that little advantage to himself, but obviously Zach Crichton just hasn't really had the pace here this afternoon. He is our championship leader, but it's just been a little unfortunate for himself here when it comes to pace. He just hasn't been able to keep with these front two.
Yeah, Zach has been lacking a little bit in the race pace department, and one factor that might help into that is when you're riding on board with Zach Crichton, Expert, you can actually see the yellow fuel symbol appear, which gives me the belief that Mercedes is currently under-fueled and at the moment won't actually make it to the end of the Grand Prix without running out. So I feel like that Zach might be trying to save fuel a little bit so then he can actually get his car to the end of the race, but fortunately enough for him, he's still able to keep up with these front two.
So I'm not too sure if anyone was looking at the telemetry there, but as you saw, 40 was actually lifting off the throttle to try and keep behind X Revolution there, because he's really close to him now, and Zach Crichton has finally caught up to the back of this little train. As you can see, he shows 40 the nose, and I think there might even be a double overtake potentially here for Zach Crichton if he can get a nice exit off the parabolic cars. It looks like he's got a pretty decent exit. So these guys are really pushing at the moment. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see some more penalties. Zach Crichton's got a very nice run on 40, but I think 40's got a very nice run on Revolution as well. It's going to be nearly 3 wide as they head into turn 1. Zach does back out of it. 40's trying to go around the outside. We're going to ride on board with the Mercedes driver. As you can see, does the late apex to try and get the better run off the corner, but unfortunately just didn't, or put the traction or the throttle down a little bit too quickly there on the exit of the second corner. Unfortunately just spun the rear wheels up, and it wasn't able to get the best traction off that corner. Revolution, I've noticed one thing with his driving style. He turns in very early to corners compared to 40 and Zach Crichton. I'm not too sure if you've realised that or not, but he turns in very early and uses the rear tyres to slide it in kind of thing. He's never really gripped up fully, if you know what I mean. So it's very interesting driving style there from Revolution, but I don't think 40's going to try and make a move here. I don't think it would be smart to do so. But Zach's kind of got the same gap at the moment to 40 in front of him than to what 40 has to Revolution. So you're going to also keep a little eye on the battles behind as well. I believe Toes Riddy and Gunner's also swapping positions, BK. So if you just want to watch those guys as well, that'd be good just to see how their battle is going. We'll swap back to them after this next straight with 40 and Revolution, because Zach's unfortunately lost a little bit of time through that Ascari chicane, so he won't be close enough this time around, I believe, to make a move. Actually caught up a lot there through the Parabolica, but 40 is a lot closer to Revolution here. He's going to have DRS. He's not actually sitting in the slipstream, this 40, but he's going to go back to it now. So will Zach try and potentially make a move? He sows in the nose there does 40, but wasn't attempting to make a move. I think Zach's trying to save up here. As you can see now, as Bailey or BK pointed out before, that yellow fuel symbol, which indicates that you need to save fuel, you're not going to make it to the end. He has got rid of that, so he is now finally back onto fuel that will get him towards the end of the race.
Yeah, there have been some wars going on as well further down the grid, Expert. I've been keeping my eyes on both Alfa Romeo cars, as Gunners 0405 had an impressive debut last week, filling at the Haas team, and he's just moved up in the P12, overtaking Toes Rudy. and also overtakes working in the points as well. Romeo Alonso flying past the brand new Williams driver gaining Berger 36 on that start-finish straight. And also, Spilly has been able to close up that 5-second gap quite significantly to Jay Schmidt and Plevs. That gap now is just a little over a second, and I think that Spilly next lap should be able to get DRS onto those guys, so that will be an interesting battle to keep our eye on.
Sorry, we've had a lead change. We've had a lead change as well. 40's now got himself up into the lead of the Grand Prix, but Revolution thought about making a move heading into Parabolica, but he thought better of it, and he's going to go to the outside line now as they head down the start main straight. And look, Zach Ryan's going to make it 3 wide into turn 1. Will he be able to get it done? He's on the inside now of 40. He's not going to be able to get it done. Will he try and go around the outside of the Ferrari? And he does get the job done, I think. Not too sure. They're still side by side, but no, Zach does get himself up into P2. So now there's actually a little bit of a gap now. I don't think 40 really wants to be here, to be honest, because he knows that Zach Ryan is not faster than him. He's only really there because of DRS at this stage. Well, Zach, I shouldn't say he isn't faster than him, but he hasn't really proven his pace as of yet. So Zach Ryan is now up into P2.
Yeah, a great three-way battle there for that top. At the moment there, Toddster 99 just overtaken Aaron to move up into 4th place. So those two continuing their battle from the Hungarian Grand Prix a few weeks ago. And there have been some yellows around in the 2nd and 3rd sectors. I can confirm for you, Expert, that is the McLaren of Very Lazy Tao, which is going awfully slow. I don't know if it was a puncture or what. But it seems like right now, Tao and Texas both in the pits. They might be trying to just gun for a fastest lap right now. I'm not too sure.
Dr. Dre
and
does
on the topic of fastest laps, yes, Dr. Dre, 3000. Finished 4th in last week's Belgian Grand Prix. He's just set the fastest lap. And Very Lazy Tao has called it a night.
So as you can see, they're on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix now. Revolution defends the inside line on Zach Crichton. So Zach now has finally got himself out of that 3rd spot of the podium, and he now gets himself into the lead of the Italian Grand Prix. So Zach seems to be sandbagging potentially a little bit at the beginning of this Grand Prix, but he's now into the lead, and Revolution dropped 2 spots there. Unfortunately, he got pushed out wide there by Zach, and now 40's trying to make a move heading into the 2nd chicane. Actually, no, Revolution trying to go around the outside here, but he wasn't able to get it done, so he's going to try and sit behind here of 40 and try and get the slipstream and DRS as they head down to the Ascari chicane, but they now head through the 1st and 2nd Lesmo of the Sector 2. We're going to keep on board with this battle, as this is the main battle at the moment for the Italian Grand Prix. Obviously, we have the Mercedes of Zach Crichton, 4022, who wants to win in front of the Ferrari home crowd, in front of the Tifosi here this afternoon. And X Revolution wants to get those extra points here for not only his Drivers' Championship, but the Constructors' Championship as well. His teammates unfortunately retired as well, so that's not going to be ideal for the McLaren Constructors standings. Revolution now to the outside line on 40. I'm surprised that he's got a nicer run here as Revolution has swapped around, and now 40 trying to go down the inside of Zach Crichton. I think Zach's they're playing games here, as you can see. I'm not too sure if Zach does not want to give up or get DRS on him, but now as you can see, Zach, I'm not too sure he's going to get DRS. Zach didn't get DRS, so he got pulled out there, and now he's going to really be hindered. Will Zach Crichton, Revolution? He is a sitting duck, so Revolution is going to go around the outside of 40, heading into the 1st chicane. There's nearly 3 wide here, but Zach will be wider on entry, so he will get the better exit. He does. So now 40 for Ferrari leads the way at the moment. Obviously, the next main overtaking spot is this next chicane. Will any driver be able to get the job done? I don't think they will be. There's a couple of 10 separating each of them, so I don't think that any moves will be made here. Zach Crichton, you can see he's really pushing at the moment. He didn't get that corner very good. Now X Revolution down the inside on Zach, but he wasn't really thinking about that. Now that's really hurt them. Zach really needs to keep within 2-3 tenths of a second to 40 if he wants to have any chance of winning this Grand Prix. 40 hits a very poor exit, but so does Zach. Will we see a move from X Revolution? 40 will be up into hot lap. As you can see, they have no ERS between each other. Rex Revolution actually has the most between them. As you can see, they're all really converging on each other as they head into the Ascari chicane. This is the last lap of the Italian Grand Prix. Can the Tifosi win it here this afternoon? Zach's actually run really wide. So it looks like that was his last opportunity. So I think this is going to be an easy win here for 40, but will Revolution dive down the inside? He thought about it, Zach, down the inside on 40, but wasn't able to get the move done. Will he be able to do it, though? He's going to have slipstream here. I don't think he's going to be close enough, so 40 is going to win at home in the Italian Grand Prix. Congratulations to Ferrari and 4022. What a win in the end there. That was definitely not one of the hardest, or one of the best battles I've seen all season. As Zach Crime will come home P2 for Mercedes ahead of X Revolution and P3. P4 will be the Williams of Todster. Finally got that job done ahead of Aaron L3F4 after that hungry battle. P5 will be Aaron. P6 will be the Gaming Burger on debut for Williams. Congratulations to himself, taking home some good points there for his drivers and constructors standing. Jeremy Alonso, P7, 8, Spilly, P9 will be Plebs. So Spilly did a really good job as well. He's up 12 spots in this Grand Prix, starting from the rear of the grid, so he's definitely in contender, a contender for hard charger of the day. That's what I need to call it now. The hardest charger, I think it's called. I'm not too sure. I'll always get that wrong. Spilly in P9, and then running at your top 10 will be Toes Rudy.
What a finish that was, Expert. We did not know until those drivers exited Parabolica who was going to win, and today it was 40-22 for Scuderia Ferrari. 40 before this race, Expert. He came in 5th place in the Drivers' Championship. Right now, he should be leaving the Drivers' Championship in P4, right behind Aaron in 3rd. I believe that will be a 1-point gap there. Zach Crichton. However, he did come 2nd today, and he should still be extending his ever-growing championship lead.
So if you're able to invite Zach, Bailey, Todster, and Aaron to the party. I just voice corrected again. That's the first time on the stream. So if you're able to invite those 4 to the party, that would be good.
I'm on to it.
So as you can see, congratulations to Ferrari winning at home exactly like they did in the real world Italian Grand Prix. Congratulations to them. They'll be taking home some good points here this afternoon as well. We're going to quickly read out your provisional results here, and then we'll try and get into some post-race interviews. 40 wins the Italian Grand Prix ahead of Zach Crane, X Revolution in P3. That rounds out your podium ahead of Todster, Aaron Berger, Romy Alonso, Spilly moving himself up into P8. P9 will be Plebs, Toyo Rudy in P11. P12, 11 will be Gunners, P12, Banana Cake Pie ahead of Schmidt, Crossy, Dr. Dre, Curving Texas, and unfortunately the 4 DNFs of the Grand Prix was F1 Hawk, BK, Breno, and Very Lazy Tao. But we're going to be back with you shortly for some post-race interviews. Please stay tuned.
Shut up.
So, all right, here we have our top 5 here. Unfortunately, we don't have Revolution in the party because he does not have a mic, but we'll start off with you, 40. Congratulations on winning in front of your home, or the Ferrari's home crowd here, in front of the Tifosi here at the Italian Grand Prix.
Oh my god.
Thank you. So, pretty tough race, but coming up with the top result in the end, so good to do it in front of the home fans there, fellas. Good challenge.
Yeah, so it was a great race there from you and Revolution and Zach Crichton, but obviously we'll move on to you now, Zach. Unfortunately, just choked it at the end there, heading onto that final lap. Wasn't able to get within the RS range.
Yeah, pitted too late, caught up 3 seconds, and I stuffed up that last DRS. I didn't know where it was, so I was like, oh, I'll just stop here. But it was too late then, but I have to say, those battles, they never get old. I love them. It's probably number 5 or more by now, but they're great battles, fair racing, and just fair.
So me and Bailey were trying to work out at the beginning of the race, were you sandbagging or not, or you just not had the pace?
I didn't really have the rear grip. The tyres were quite worn, I must say, and then I stayed out one lap. Well, I was going to pit a few laps early, and then I saw the traffic. I was like, hell no, I'm not going in that. So I stayed out, which was kind of bad, but yeah, it worked out in the end, I guess. So P2, I'll take that, and yeah, 70-point lead in the championship.
Yeah. So obviously you still will lead the Drivers' Championship. And we'll move on to you now, Aaron. Unfortunately, Revolution does not have a mic, so he has not joined the party. Finally got ahead. Sorry, Todser. Sorry. Todser finally has got ahead of Aaron after that battle in Hungary. Wasn't able to do it, but finally has been able to do it here at the Italian Grand Prix. You were battling a little bit. Unfortunately, we didn't get too much of it on stream because we were watching these front three take each other out. But do you have any... So if you want to run us through real quick what was happening with you and Aaron through that race?
Not a lot, to be honest. Just for the initial part, we thought we might be able to catch up to the top three. We were just DRS training each other, helping each other out a bit. And then when we realised that we wouldn't be able to catch up, we sort of just did our own thing, and at the end of the day, the superior driver come forward and put himself in P4 at the end of the day, didn't he?
So you're better now, Toddy?
Oh, yeah.
So who's ahead in the championship? Just... Yeah, okay.
No comment? Alright,
Nice
great.
chat, Toddy.
So I actually don't have any questions for Aaron. So do you have any questions, BK, at all? I don't know why I invited him. But...
Alright, I'll be nice to Aaron. Aaron, P5 today. P5 today, Aaron. Were you hoping for more in this race?
Yeah. I mean, you'd love a win, but I think just the top three were just a bit too good today, so couldn't really do much.
Now, I'll switch the topic over to the Drivers' Championship because, in case you boys don't know, there is a nice four-way battle spicing up for second place in the championship between Revolution, Aaron, Toddy, and 40. And Aaron, heading into this race, you were on equal points Revolution. You've fallen a little bit behind now, and with 40's win as well, he's actually 1 point behind you. Do you think that you could hold on to third right now, or do you think that 40's good run lately, and by lately I just mean today, because last week was terrible.
Oh, last week I got brake check. Doesn't count.
Do you think that you'd better hold on to third, or do you think you better push Revolution for second?
I'll try and get second, but I think I've been a bit lucky with Revolution missing a few races and Bailey having a shit start to the season, but I'll see what I can do. Yeah.
I'll extend that.
Toddy, though.
I'll extend that question out now as well to Toddster and 40. Do you guys think you can push Revolution to get second place in the Drivers' Championship as well?
No.
Alright.
Well,
I just want to beat Aaron. I just want to beat Aaron.
I won't be as brief as Toddy's answer, but I think it would definitely be a tough challenge to keep up with. Revolution is a pretty quick driver on level with Zach, and we've seen how far Zach is in front of the Drivers' Championship, so it'll be a good competition, but we'll have to see how we go.
Great stuff, boys. And one more question from me. This one's directed towards my Mercedes teammate, Zach Crichton. How early do you think you can secure this Drivers' Championship?
Oh, it's never over till the fat lady sings.
Jesus Christ.
But I don't know. I guess
Japan.
I don't know. We'll have to see. That's in the future, but it's never over.
Well, this rate you're not
until it's
securing
over,
the
I guess.
constructors' standings.
It's alright, mate. We'll have that sorted. But
You're gonna sack Bailey.
hopefully soon, BK.
BK's got to pick up his game.
Yeah. Where he is at the moment, 231. So I think, what did Crossy get in that race?
That would be leading it.
What did
Crossy finished out the points, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay, so Mercedes would just be leading at the moment, I think. Yeah, Ferrari and P2. So yeah, it'll be close. It'll be under 10 points. But anyway, thank you guys for joining. For some post-round interviews. I assume you don't have any more questions, BK?
Yeah, no, that was my last question.
Actually, I have a question for BK.
Alright.
So what happens through the second Lesmo? Was it just a massive pile up, or? I did see that on the mini map, and I was like, "Oh,
yeah." I made pretty good progress on the opening lap. I gained like 6 places before I even reached turn 1, and then Texas and ran wide, coming out second Lesmo on the gravel, and I ran into him trying to avoid him, and that was just my night over. And third time in 3 races where my night's over on lap 1.
It's alright. Luck will turn around.
Alright. Thank you guys for joining the party for some post-race interviews. Congratulations to or your positions to where you got. But thank you guys for joining. Thank you, Bailey, for also joining me in the commentary box after your DNF from the Italian Grand Prix for the 3rd time in a row. But we'll see you guys next time. My name is Expert, and catch you later.